Hi there! Welcome to Virtualance. My name is Judy Kimberly Ralias, and I am the Chief Executive Officer here at Virtualance. And let me tell you that we are very excited to have you here with us. And what we're trying to do right now with this video is we're trying to onboard you with the Virtualance way, with everything there is to us, and I hope to give you a great ride and show with what we're about. We've always actually done this one-on-one, but because of the growth that has been happening recently, we can't be able to manage a one-on-one anymore. However, I can assure you that together with this video, we will be scheduling um, like an actual Q&A, which we can do via Facebook Messenger phone call if you have any concerns and questions and things like that. Okay, so let's start with the discussion of um, what we're about. Please take out the copy that we sent you on your email regarding the onboarding file, and this goes along with it. I apologize in advance. The onboarding file is a little bit old. The last time that it was updated was in 2016, but bear with us. Um, Hopefully soon we'll be able to improve that also. Anyway, so again, welcome to Virtualance, and um, Virtualance is actually a virtual assistant and remote worker outsourcing agency that is geared towards providing quality clients or qualified clients, um, and providing them with talented and professional and skilled workers just like you, um, for long-term positions. So let me make that clear, because here at Virtualance, our main goal is to make sure that our mission and vision is going to be carried out. And what's our vision really here? Our vision is first and foremost to really provide sustainable jobs to talented Filipinos like you who want to be able to work at home, and for clients to also get the kind of quality level in service that only um, people like you can offer. So why are we even saying this? It's because we've been around, yeah, in this industry for quite some time. To be honest, we started 7 years ago in 2011, so we're not a newbie at this. We may not be as famous as bigger firms, but um, we believe that with the little growth that we've been able to manage through the years, um, it's very sustainable with and in line with our goals. So, Virtualance, I want to tell you about uh, how we started so that you would also understand where we're coming from. Okay, so I started Virtualance unknowingly, because what had happened is, after my career as a corporate slave, as what they would say, one day I just gave up on going to the office. I was just so sick of it. And what I really just wanted was to have more freedom and to just be able to work at home. And incidentally, I was also friends with so many people who had needed that kind of work opportunity, like, for example, single parents and people who suffered with health issues because of schedules. And these were there were all kinds of people like me who had just wanted to work at home. At that time, back in 2011, the industry, like the freelancing industry, wasn't very defined. At that time, it was still in its infancy. Although there were a lot of people who had already started like 2007, 2008, in 2011, progress wasn't that tremendous yet, like now, and the community was still very small, and everybody was so hush hush with where you could actually find um, jobs that really pay. So when I quit my job, I was so concerned, like where to find those jobs. So I started like scoring the internet and searching work at home and online jobs and stuff like that. And you can just imagine that it led me to so many scams and to working and not having any payment. There was a moment when I was still starting out when I told myself that if only there was a company who could um, provide clients who really can uh, give long term positions, and if there was only a company represented by a Filipino that can guarantee payment, I would definitely, like, no questions asked, I would go for it. The reason being is that it was such a struggle for me to even start out. There were so many, like, it was a crazy mess. There were already websites like Odesk and Rent-A-Coder and Elance and things like that. But it was so hard to navigate at that time. And even knowing the website Odesk, people were so hush hush. I remember that I had a friend who was working there, but she wouldn't even tell me the website because they were afraid that, you know, maybe the opportunities were finite, and people can get so selfish about work opportunities, right? Unless if they're secure. So eventually, I did get established by positioning myself at that time as a content writer. And probably because I was able to produce high quality work, the orders would start coming in by droves. Like first it would be 20 articles, and then I would get like hundreds of orders, and then eventually I did get thousands. So at that point in time, when I was already getting hundreds, I was so swamped with tasks that I had no choice but to start delegating it to other people um, who had the skills in writing. So I fell into it, and we started out with 10 writers until we had more than 100 writers. When we were already at this point of having 100 writers, they did not have regular work, but they did have like, they had to pick at what articles they wanted to write. After quite some time of doing this, I got to know the writers, and the more time that I spent with them, I quickly learned that they were just like me. They wanted to have something solid, something that pays, um, so that they can permanently leave the graveyard shifts in the call center and things like that. Because they were desperate, they wanted to spend more time with their family, uh, help in the child rearing, have normal sleep. And the more that I knew about the lives of these people, it from just wanting to, get some work out of my hands, I started to really care about my fellow freelancers. They all needed something solid and regular and long term. And it was such a huge, like, you know, feeling deep inside me that I should do something. But I was so on the fence about doing something because do I have the time? And I'm just a 23-year-old uh, wannabe in the freelancing industry who would trust me. So this this desire and anxiety and worry and it was bothering me because the desire to make a difference grew and grew and grew. And during that time, incidentally, the clients had also started asking for other talents. Like at first, they had ordered content, and then they had also started like asking for web developers, for uh, people who can be their online secretary. Nobody was still penning the term or like coining the term virtual assistant at that time. People were still calling it data entry and then online secretary or like online EA something. People couldn't like pinpoint it. So um, eventually I had the courage to approach my regular customers and to really say, from now on, if you want content, I'm no longer going to be accepting uh, orders for articles, but instead, if you want to have some articles written, maybe it would be a good idea to hire our writers um, on a more regular way, like if they wanted a part time writer or a full time writer. And then we defined like what's part time and full time, like how many words there would be. I'm not going to say that it was easy because it wasn't. So many clients were like very adamant at like, no, we want, just random tasks. But we were determined because it it bore down on me. What's the point when you're working at home but then there's no regular income? Sometimes there would be people who would set like, for example, they had like $7 per hour rate online or like $8 per hour rate online, but then they can only get like X amount of hours in a month, and it's still not sustainable with um, all the bills that you have to pay, the lifestyles that you have to maintain, tuition, things like that. So some of the clients were not receptive, but some of the clients were. And in the process of doing this, there was even there were even times that um, I cold called companies randomly in the United States if they needed help. So many hung up on me, um, but there were also people who were receptive. So anyway, it's been a lot of years from then. During the life cycle of Virtualance, we're even able to create um, a physical office when we had like a workforce of more than 100 people. I also even um, assisted in creating a center in Dumaguete as well. Although these were back in 2013, although the operations weren't stellar and sustainable, and it was like one of the biggest life lessons here at Virtualance. But the most important part is we are still here today, and we're still um, bent on our mission, which is to provide sustainable and um, happy jobs for talented remote workers in the Philippines. and pairing these workers to clients who are the right fit. So, welcome to Virtualance. I hope that you got something from that as to where we are. Okay. So, with that, definitely, I can tell you this. I do understand how it is to be the one working for these clients because I was also there, and I have that special experience as well of being a boss. So since I was 23, had I've had I've hired hundreds of people under me. I'm not going to say that I'm the perfect boss, but I can say that I've come a long way from when I started. And this brings us to the most important part. Okay, in retrospect, after 7 years of managing Virtualance, we have had to reinvent our service many times. We've had to um, iterate and to modify our systems because there's so many factors that can affect relationships of clients and VAs from fizzling out. And I want to be clear that Virtualance is not just, a recruitment agency that provides you with jobs and then we're just, trying to profit from your labor. No. What I want you to understand is Virtualance is your partner as well as the client's partner so that we can really make the relationship last for a long time. This means that if you need assistance or if you have concerns about your clients, tell us so that we can help you resolve things. And also, we are going to reach out to you regarding feedback from the clients to make sure that it doesn't go to a point that the relationship fizzles out and all of a sudden you don't have a client. Okay. Help us help you have a long-term job. Okay. That's our commitment. If many people, and many people may say that I would rather just go direct with a client and so that nobody takes a pay cut from us, but I want you to understand that the kind of support that we're having for our clients, we even train the clients to be good to you, to make sure that you will feel inspired and you will feel that you're welcome. We also do a full range of services for the client and also to you to make sure that both parties are well taken care of and supported. So we are on your side as well as the clients. Ultimately, we just want things to work out because the clients that we have here at Virtualance are not the type of clients who would just need you for 3 months. They come to us because they need somebody who will grow with their business. So if it happens that they cancel, it means that it wasn't a good match. And it's such a waste because they really were looking to provide something long term. We actually don't accept clients who just want a temporary VA, because for us, our process is just so specialized that um, the cost of hiring is too much and the cost of um, managing everything, providing services and support and everything, it's just too high for just ad hoc tasks. Okay, so point number 2, what is a VA and what is your scope of work? You are here because you know what a VA is. Okay. Um, we don't hire people who have less than 2 years of experience for the reason that it's not that we are closed off with newbies, but the kind of support that our clients need is something that only people like you, people with your experience, can provide. So obviously you would know the answer to this question and you would know your scope of work. Um, Whatever that we had discussed regarding your client and what they're looking for, that is your scope of work. And we've also matched you with these clients because whatever they're looking for, the skills that they need are skills that you already have. Okay, section 3, discussions on the trial period. So we are onboarding you today because because we want you to be prepared with working for the client. And one important detail that I would like you to be aware of is that for the first 5 days, you are still on trial with the client. So, regarding the pay, you don't have to worry because you are actually being paid by Virtualance for the trial. Okay, so definitely we're not out here um, to shortchange you and to get freebies from you, but we're doing this trial because we know uh, from our own industry experience how you can tell a lot if you're a match in the first few days, even with working. The most that we can give is 5 days. Okay, so we're giving them the 5 days because we want to make sure that they made the right choice, which is to hire you. And I'm telling you about this because I want you to really get down to what the this job entails, to give it your best shot, not just on the trial, sustainably and in the long term, but be aware that you can still be dropped out in the first 5 days. Okay, this is not to scare you, and this is not to also like make you paranoid and things like that. If you know your job well, if you love your job, and if you do your best, you shouldn't have a problem. Um, but yes, that's how it is here. Okay, for the contract agreement, please check it in the email that came with this also. Please send us back the signed contract. It also contains a non-compete and things like that. Please read that. And if you have questions, please um, send us a feedback or like send us a chat message. We can talk about it. For your schedule of payments, we pay our VAs every 15th and 30th of the month. So, and we also send that over through PayPal or through BPI, whichever is more um, available at that time. So, for instance, if uh, the abundance of funds are still at PayPal, we will send it over a PayPal. If it's already been transferred to the bank, we will transfer it via BPI. I hope you have a BPI account or you can make one so that it's more accessible, and so that there won't be any excuses on the delays of your salary. Because if we will have to like go to your bank, it will, you know, it will cause a lot of delays. Cebu, where I am actually located, is super duper traffic, and having to deposit money and go on a queue, that would be complicated. So I believe that BPI has like no maintaining balance accounts, you can also do that. Okay. Section 4, I would like to discuss the client's perspective. So, A, who are our clients? Okay, by the way, we're discussing this because we want you to understand um, what really is the experience of a client, and so that you can understand why we have certain protocols in place. You may think like, this is so bothersome. I don't want to be bothered with doing an end of shift report. I don't want to be bothered with using the time doctor tracking. But I want you to understand where these clients are coming from. Okay? And please be patient with us because we have been studying this for the past 7 years. We know what works, what doesn't work, what assures a client to really move forward with the service. So, A, who are our clients? Some of them are startup founders. A lot of them are millennials. Millennials are people who were born from 1979 to early 2000, or like 1995. A lot of them are first time bosses. Okay, I'm not saying everybody. A lot of them are first time entrepreneurs, and a lot of them are first timers in telecommuting. So, meaning some of them may have been bosses in different, like, office settings, or maybe they have like their workplace, maybe they've managed other people. But some of them are first timers in telecommuting, especially offshore. Why am I saying this? It's because I want you to first and foremost be patient, empathize with our clients. I know that it can be difficult to empathize with somebody who would be like barking orders, or like, frustrate you at times and pressure you. But I want you to understand that our clients are people too, just like you. And when you are a newbie at being a boss, when you are a newbie at business, there's so much pressure to achieve. There's they're still struggling um, with how to manage people. They're still struggling with, what's the best way to treat people, especially that we have different personality traits. You can't expect um, your boss to uh, be able to guess what's the best way to manage you, especially that we have different cultures, we have different upbringing, and most of all, we have different personalities. So I am asking you to please be patient with our clients, because they do not mean to hurt you. They do not mean to um, make you feel bad about things. This is really actually rooted because they are still trying to build themselves up um, in managing people and being a boss. Let me tell you this, when I started out um, years ago, and I was so new at being a boss, although I have managed people, and I wasn't even the best at managing people in an office where I was employed. But when I really became a boss, it was so unnerving because we're always second guessing ourselves. Are we doing the right thing? But we just want things to get done. Okay? So we want to get things done, but we're like, how can I tell my VAs this? Some clients can be so blunt and so forceful. Some clients can also be pushovers. And please understand that they are humans. They are still struggling. They want to be the best um, boss for you, but you also have to show them by empathizing and by being patient, and even by suggesting gently, like how you can do things. Please do not be immediately offended, unless, of course, if you know a client is like blatantly racist. But please don't be easily offended, because there's so many. When you're running a business, all the weight of that business is on the shoulders of the business owner, of your client. They're so pressured, and they want to be the best for you, but it actually takes a process to do that. In line with this, I want you to, when you start working with your client, be observant. Try to identify where, you know, where they can improve, where they can be better, and where they're good and where they're lacking. And you can, especially if the relationship is still new, please do not like directly say it to your client, but you tell it to us, okay? Um, we will be introducing you to to the admin officer here at Virtualance and your team manager. So your team manager will uh, listen to your concerns regarding your client. If you have like any concerns, if you feel bad about something, if you want to praise your client, you can go directly. If there's something that you need to criticize or like a friendly suggestion, reach out to us regarding that. Okay, and we will listen. In fact, you can also like send me a message on Facebook regarding that. Okay. Next is, what are clients looking for in their VA? Number one, ultimately, it's reliability. Okay. Um, Number two, enthusiastic about the job. Okay. You, I cannot, uh, I cannot express it enough that it is very intimidating when we give a task that for us is an exciting project to our VA or our worker, and then the VA just, you know, looks up and says, okay, it's so unnerving. Be a little bit more enthusiastic, okay? If it bores you really, um, try to find the love in what you're doing. I mean, why are you a VA in the first place if you don't love it, right? You better go back to the office. Three, someone who will go above and beyond, meaning they hired you because they know that you are that talented. They have seen you talk, they have seen your samples. Give justice to your interview, give justice to what your real talents are. Because when they find out that